Welcome to IndianaMat Gorilla Radio, episode 58. We are here with Mike Reiser. He just got done doing family pictures. Looking good. His hair is nice as usual.
Yeah, I had to go get a cut today.
Nice.
Took my brother there. I don't know if you're in Crown Point, man, you need to start going to my barber. He keeps it crisp.
Yeah, no, always looking good. I gotta get the comments up. But had a great weekend. There we go. We already have comments there. Awesome. Maybe not.
Brent Smith, first one, right?
Yeah, and I just messed that up. Okay, hold on a second. Still not good at this whole thing right here yet.
We're getting there.
I think that's the password. Yeah, so yeah, we are big week of wrestling, obviously. Last weekend. Let's see if that works now. And, Mike was at IndianaMat doing some work there. Always some great wrestling.
Mostly hanging out.
Yeah. How would that go there? How was the IndianaMat area?
It was a good tournament. I mean, obviously, it's always good. There's always going to be maybe not like team depth wise. It wasn't as strong as it has been. I mean, obviously, Cathedral is really good. They looked really good. We were talking. We did the live broadcast. I know we had a lot of views. We shared that on IndianaMat, but we kind of talked about it there. Like, they're ranked 13. I don't think 20 is ranked. Then 26 through 82, they have guys in the ranking. Their 95 could be ranked. That guy's put together pretty good.
Yeah, no, they look pretty good. I watched the stream for the most part, and
did you like it?
Yeah, some good stuff. Obviously, it's always always a fun. It's always interesting hearing. Hopefully this fixes it. It's always fun to hear other people talk and everything. So hopefully the echo's gone. Maybe I'm not good at this echo thing stuff yet.
There we go. It doesn't sound like it.
And oops, I can't hear you now.
But it was a good tournament. I thought that there's always a ton of tough teams. I think those kind of middle teams are interchangeable. I know we kind of talked about it last week. Coach Watkins does the seeding. The seedings, I don't always agree with them, and obviously this year, CMA is a really good team. I know we watched the duel with Wawasi, and they had a lot of guys out of the lineup. They got upset by IndianaMat, and it brightens my day to see the IndianaMat Warriors wrestling on the main floor. So definitely some teams that were Crown Point, I think, lost to Franklin. I think they were disappointed. So you lost some matchups that. Possibly, I want to see Jesse Mendez and Wall and Zach, and I wanted to see.
Okay, hopefully we don't have echo now. Keep talking.
Yeah. I want to see Wall and Zach and Mendez, and I want to see Mendez and Peel, and obviously Crown Point got beat by Franklin, and I think that just kind of shows how good of a coach Bob Hassman is. We talked before about how they were beat so bad by. Meridian early on that they were on the top four there, and we kind of talked about it with some of the people there. You definitely like to see some different teams getting in. Culver Military is a cool one because they're young, but I think overall I like to see a bunch of kind of change over in that middle area. Yeah, lots of great matchups, individual matchups. You're always going to get that Cathedral Portage match. We had a bunch of ranked matchups. Mishawaka was fourth. Kind of disappointing. You see Joseph Walker was walking around. Hopefully that he's back.
You there?
So, yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. We're still having an echo. Hold on a second. I'm trying to... Yes, I know it's Mike. That's what I'm trying to figure out what I did wrong here. Let's see...
This is awesome that they could do the comments and get it kind of figured out.
Oh, it's fixed now. Okay, we're good. Don't do anything. Wait, that's my job.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we good now,
If
everyone?
I did do anything, I'd mess it up for sure.
Okay. Yes. I've not touched anything. The settings should have been the same from last week. I've learned. Okay, so yes, back to Trikoff. Okay, we got 2 confirmations. I don't know if I trust those 2, but we'll trust that everyone can go after them. I'll give them their addresses afterward. Yeah, lots of great wrestling. Obviously, you said Calumet made the main floor, which is good for them. It's always good to see them. Good to see that they're doing well. Oh, Braden's on here now. He wants a shirt. He's
I know.
Well, he should have been there. He shouldn't have been wrestling at Michigan State.
I handed a bunch of them out.
Yeah.
I would like to see more people post their photos that we got. I seen Dane's getting some guys posted now. We handed a bunch of shirts out. Obviously, Grandma Bailey always gets a shirt from IndianaMat. She's awesome. They had her a seat right on the main floor. So Coach Trevino took care of her. I think Coach Trevino wrestled around the same time as Braden's dad, Logan's dad. Not in the same team, obviously, but kind of same era. So he took care of that, and it's good to take care of good people. And I was happy.
Yeah, that's good. She's become a celebrity all of a sudden. I don't know. I just know that first time I was that I encountered her at the Connersville. This Connersville, the big bowl, and this lady's running up, and I'm like, I think she's coming after me. I'm like, oh, what'd I do? Did I say something about her grandkid or something? And she just came up and was like, really nice and everything. So that's it was one of those. I'm glad that she came up and said what she did, and she's a big fan. So
yeah. And I think we're getting that a lot more now, where people are super happy with the product that we're putting out. You're always gonna have people that are upset, and it's never a personal thing, but it definitely. I got a ton of compliments from the hangouts, and I got a ton of everyone loves the rankings, and everyone wants shirts. So a lot of IndianaMat shirts running around out there.
Yeah, hopefully people are wearing them. Tweet them out if you got them. Hopefully some people say it's bad, some say it's not. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Hopefully it's not too bad. I kind of turned down your mic a little bit. The other big events going on, Perry Meridian Duels. Perry had them and who was I gonna think? Columbus East, and then Greenfield Central had some guys that were doing some work there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they brought a couple teams from out of state in. So that was cool. I thought that was a good day. It looked like a lot of really good wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. In Mason, Ohio, who I believe has wrestled Indiana teams every week. I think they wrestle more Indiana teams than half the Indiana teams. That's one thing that we'll be talking about them in a little bit, but they've wrestled a lot of Indiana teams so far, and they're going to be probably seeing some more this weekend. So kind of interesting that this one random team in Ohio keeps coming over to Indiana for competition. So and then we had Evansville. Down in Evansville, you had Bloomington South, Castle, Evansville, McCracken County, which I just found out. I was reading the board. Jason Nickel, who's Bo Nickel from Penn State, his dad is the head coach down there. So pretty neat to see that. Found out. I was reading.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I know someone had posted the travel restriction thing again. I don't see that getting lifted anytime soon. So it's good to wrestle some of these surrounding areas. I know Lake Central was in Illinois this past weekend, and those guys coming over from Ohio. I know Kentucky, a little bit of Michigan. I think Mishawaka wrestled Lakeshore this past week.
Yeah, they did. I believe they beat them. That'll be interesting to see. They always wrestle at Lakeshore, and I believe one other team, and that's always good to see that different competition.
Like Penn wrestles Niles or something, right? Like right across the border.
Yeah. So Wyatt Miller, you're crazy. Anyway. So yeah, some good results out of all those areas. Definitely Cooper Nori was doing some work, beat a couple good guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
He's had a ton of really good summer results, and I think those are probably his two biggest high school wins to this point. He's obviously talented, So.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm putting the link out. Jeez.
We'll have to start handing out like a wrestler of the week. I mean, if it would have been Cooper Nori this week. He knocked off Sam Fair and Shanagi, right?
Yeah, and then Warren beat Rooks. So Mike's got a lot of work to do this weekend. And they got to figure out how to move guys in and out and where they go and all that fun stuff.
And some of those, like those bumps and stuff, like obviously the rankings held up pretty well at Calumet. I mean, there's a couple spots, but you know they had the Washington and Slivka match. I got to meet the Slivka parents, Mr. and Mrs. Slivka. Awesome. They were appreciative of the show. We gave them some gear, and then you also had Moran and Seltzer, which held up to the ranking, but was a great match. So over there, like you want to see those bumps. I don't think that it hurts them as much. It might drop them like one spot, but I think overall, like you're talking like Rooks bumping up to Russell Warren. That's not gonna like kill his ranking because those are the matches you want to see. Like, and obviously Warren's ranked really high, and so is Rooks.
Yeah, no, it should be. That's cool to see those guys are bumping. Rooks going up for that competition. I know the duel was a little bit close. So and I know that might have been one of the last matches, and they knew, hey, we gotta go after a big dog to win the duel. So I know those Columbus East boys aren't afraid to seek out competition. They wrestle anywhere and everywhere, and they usually do pretty well. So I don't think that's obviously having one person do the rankings. That's not gonna knock Rooks anywhere unless somehow he ends up at 45, obviously. So that's good to know. Right. With that, obviously, like we were talking, Trikoff was pretty much dominated by Cathedral. Parameridian held their own. Yep, and yeah, Nori beat Graves as a crazy. Nori had a good week, definitely.
Yeah, I think if we're handing out Wrestler of the Week, I think Cooper Nori got my vote for this week.
Yeah, definitely. Knocking off not just three ranked wrestlers, three highly ranked wrestlers. You guys are in top four.
I think Cooper got Antoine Graves before we were able to put the new rankings out, and he was about to be the number one after his big win, and then so we changed it up, and now it's Matt Lee, which is also deserving. But
yeah,
so that's a pretty awesome week.
Yeah. With that, we will transfer. I guess into a little bit of news, some interesting news. We got both good news and bad news. I don't know what we want to know. Everyone know first, but I guess we'll do the bad news first. Sounds like Eli Picorni's out for the season. We saw posted. Coach Davison kind of posted that on the Chesterton Facebook page. Sounds like an injury keeping him out. Obviously, I know he has aspirations of being probably a 4-time All-American in college, and I don't know. I haven't heard anything about what the injury is. But obviously it's something that's going to keep him out for the season. Maybe we'll see him in the spring and summer at Fargo. I don't know, but that's the big news. Bad news. But I do have good news, and really good news. There's a big match going on next week. Is it Friday? I think that's Friday.
It's Friday.
Perry Meridian's traveling down south to Mater Dei. Pretty big match. Number 2 and 4. Maybe Dane will probably change up the rankings. I doubt those will change. It's going to be streamed live on IndianaMat. So we're working out a couple of the kinks. It will be at least on YouTube, maybe Facebook if we get a couple of things worked out. But we have a guy that's going to help us out, and got some Mike and Randy guys. I don't know if they're from Mater Dei. I don't know who they are, but supposedly they might be the ones announcing, so they might know a little bit about wrestling. We'll tune in to see if they know anything about wrestling.
Yeah, those guys, obviously, Mike does an amazing job at the state finals every year, so he has a little bit of experience doing this. That's an amazing thing, and I know we've kind of talked about doing that more, some live broadcast and carrying them on IndianaMat. That's a huge one, and anyone that hasn't been on the board this week, go check out Hook and Half's post about the history of Meridian and modern day duels. Obviously, he does an amazing job writing that up. If you could print that up and hand it out the door, I think that would be amazing for those guys.
Yeah. So Hook and Half does a great job. I did order my book. It should be here tomorrow. I know that's it's taking me about way too long to order that. Great Christmas gift. It's on Amazon. History of modern. If they're a wrestling fan in Indiana, you're looking for a gift for somebody that no one else is going to get them. I'd go that. Even if you're not a modern day fan, it's a history of Indiana wrestling. The pinnacle school. I mean, it's hard not to say that obviously Bloomington's pretty good too, but they're a school that has ton of tradition, and so it's always neat to see that kind of stuff. So we'll be streaming that. I'm excited to do that. We're kind of working some kinks out, see if we can maybe do it on Facebook. I do like to be able to do it on Facebook. It'll be on YouTube at least, so everyone will watch, and hopefully we'll get a lot of good feedback from it. And I'm super excited to be able to do that. I know there's some other big matches coming up, and maybe we'll be able to do some more. Don't want to promise too much right now, but I know we'll try to do a few of them this year and expand on maybe a weekly duel in the next couple of years.
Yeah. And I think especially with the way they format it, they kind of have not everyone's gonna be wrestling on a Friday night, so you're gonna get a time if you're cutting weight or you have anything going on, you're waiting for Saturday morning to compete, you can go and watch this duel. And I think a lot of teams should strive. I mean, obviously there's a lot of good teams in Indiana, but if you're striving, you're a small program you're building, this is a good match to kind of try to build your program towards.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think there's going to be much going on next Saturday because of kind of the way the calendar is. A lot of the stuff that was before Christmas is going to be this Saturday. At least that's kind of what our schedule is looking like. So there's not going to be a lot of stuff going on even next week. I know we originally were going to have that whole week off, but due to Dwenger moving their football team winning state, our duel got moved. But that's a week that's going to be kind of open, and it's kind of one of those. It's usually a week that's preceding Christmas, and so no one schedules that week. So it's a wide open week for everyone. So we should have a couple 100,000 viewers, I'd say. I mean,
that'd be great.
We've had over 1 million page views in the past month, so that's all I know. So obviously, hopefully, we have a few of those people tune in. But once we get links, we'll get that link. We'll be disseminating that on social media and stuff. And I'm excited to see it. I'm not gonna drive 5 hours as much as I'd love to go down there. The wife would kill me. So I'm gonna sit with Rocco beside me, and it's a Friday night. Gonna be off work for 4 days. I have to go in once the next week, so I'm gonna be sitting there relaxing, maybe with a beverage. I don't know.
Maybe I might be broadcasting CP Portage, so who knows? I don't know how they have that set up for region. They usually tell me the week of, but I'm gonna definitely be checking out Modern Day and Meridian. Obviously, those are two of my favorite programs.
Yeah, and I'm glad we're seeing, even with the region sports stuff, doing some more broadcasting and stuff. It's great for the sport, great that exposure, and I know. I know there's some people. I asked Coach Schaefer today, and I sent him an email saying, "Hey, could we do this?" And he's like, "Oh yes." And then one of the dads was contacting me. Okay, we're gonna they're gonna do it big down there. I think they're gonna get a DJ, have some pretty cool stuff down there. So Modern Day is gonna be a little crazy. Not even wearing tights anymore. They're gonna be doing it right. So.
I remember the duel where they wrestled Perry for the state title that year. That when that Hook and Half kind of covered. That was a great match. Yeah, I think those are the type of atmosphere it's gonna be. It's gonna be exciting. I know Modern Day, they used to pack the state finals really crazy. I'm sure that gym's gonna be packed. Perry Meridian travels well, so
yeah. Friday. If you're in it's a good day.
Area, definitely go check it.
Yeah, I know I asked Triple B about it, and he said he would, if he didn't have something going on, he'd definitely be there. So I was, I'd definitely, if I was within a couple hours, I'd definitely be there. So hopefully we have a big crowd there and big crowd online. Obviously the other 3/4 of the state would love to see that match, and hopefully it goes well. So, that's the news for the week. Breaking news. Actually, a lot of that stuff actually just kind of finally came under, he got finalized within the last hour, in all honesty. I was getting text during Rocco's Christmas party, so or Christmas program. He did a great job, by the way. Great singer. Might not even wrestle anymore.
He's about the happiest kid I ever saw. So
yeah, yeah, for the most part. So this week, a little lighter of a week going on. It's not, obviously last week was a really big week. It kind of takes a week off. Actually, going to be 2 weeks with all the Christmas stuff. Obviously, next week we have a couple big matches, but kind of a lull right here. But I got a couple events going on. And then you hit in the holiday tournaments, so that's going to be fun. The big ones, there's the Grappler Gold World Championships in Michigan. It's in Lansing and Mater Dei, Brownsburg. And then a bunch of, I just saw this posted actually, and that's how we figured it out. Bunch of ranked Michigan teams, Division I, which is their biggest class, number 2, 3, 4, and 8. Davison, Michigan, which home of Brett Metcalf, John Reeder, really good guys there. Brighton, Clarkston, Grand Ledge, and then some D2 schools. And then actually, if you look at D4, Division 4, they have 4 divisions. Clinton, you might see a familiar face there. Former Culver community head coach Luis Poza is an assistant coach there. I don't believe he's the head coach, but I know he moved back home. That's where he went to school. Saw that name that kind of rung a bell, and I know he'll be up there, so he might see a couple familiar faces. Nice. I don't even want to answer that. Yeah, so that's the biggest one. I assume it's Mason, Ohio will be there also. So they're going to see more Indiana teams. They must not like Ohio. Are they kicked out of Ohio or something? So I don't know. Sounds like some good event. A good event. Also I have to ask Coach Schneider about his schedule, because they also have a duel with St. Ed's scheduled for the same day, which I don't think that's going to happen, because it says it's December 15th. So we'll figure that out. I'll send him a text. Any other comments on that? On that big event right there, or any other?
I think we kind of hit on it early in the show. I think we really those are the guys who are taking advantage of the limited travel that we are allowed. If you're gonna limit it, you can go still see. I mean, obviously you have those Decatur brothers up in Michigan, right? That they're from Michigan. They wrestle. Are they from Ohio?
They're from Ohio.
But Portage, they're gonna be at Brecksville with those guys. So you're getting some of the top areas. You can kind of go into Chicago a little bit. The Chicagoland area is pretty strong. I mean, you can't wrestle like, Ironman, things like that. But there's events you can kind of get into and compete. I know Mater Dei used to have Union County and them come to the Mater Dei Holiday Classic.
Yeah.
So.
And I know, Brecksville kicked out a couple teams that I think were from Pennsylvania, right out of that area, so that they could bring in the Indiana and Michigan teams. So that's pretty good. That's cool for them to do that, because Indiana and Michigan pretty much have the same rule of the 300 miles, and then you can't wrestle anyone outside that. And I agree. I'd like to see it changed. I just don't know if it will be changed. I know. I wish it would be, right, but it's not going to be changed.
Yeah, I think, Indiana's kind of set in their ways in a lot of different things. We were trying to talk with Cosgrove. He was like, wouldn't it be cool if we were able to do the walkout music at the state finals? So, yeah, but they're not going to really change that up. I don't know if that's something they would want to go to. I mean, we kind of pushed for that, rearranging the draw at state the year we had Red and Lee, and they were like, no chance.
Yeah. That
was not happening.
Yeah.
So
they're getting better. It's not, they're set in their ways, and they have very good reasons for it, and can't really argue too much with, suggest an idea and hopefully it flies, and if not, suggest another one some other time. But yeah, I agree. Walkout music's always cool, but at the same time, they have other things they're working on, so we'll look for something else. I mean, our state finals, in all honesty, is second to none there, so that's one thing that I know our production. I know I've had people from Ohio and Michigan and stuff all come in, like, man, this is a pretty cool event here. So.
Oh yeah, I know they say that in Illinois. So definitely cool. not a lot of stuff locally. I think Munster Super Duel, and they have the Carl Carnahan. So there could be a couple good matchups there. I think Wheeler's there. Crown Point, obviously.
Yeah.
Not the strongest weekend this week. I know Calumet's there. This isn't the strongest weekend for region wrestling. This is kind of like the lull before you go like Trikoff, kind of slow week, and then a lot of teams go to Al Smith, which is always a good tournament.
Yeah. I just got a text from Snyder. He said that he was supposed to have a triple duel with them and LaSalle, which is one of the top teams in Ohio now, and the guy never got back with him until like last week. So they already scheduled going up to Michigan. So I believe that sounds like it is off. So they don't get to see St. Ed, but I guess they're going to see some pretty good competition. They're going to be going to Michigan and Ohio, and it's good for our guys to see those types. It's good for those guys to go up to those events to get exposure past the Indiana border. I know that's one thing. We have a lot of guys who go to Super 32. We have a good group who goes up to Fargo, been doing better the past couple of years, doing UW cadets and juniors and stuff, and it's always good for our guys to get exposure outside of Indiana because it needs to go past our borders and past IndianaMat, go into Flow where it's big.
IndianaMat's putting on a good tournament where you're getting some nationally ranked guys there too. So
yeah,
if you're not doing anything in the fall, you should be there.
Yes. The other big one, Marion County. I guess that's the real big one. Everybody but the city schools, including Cathedral, Warren Central. Where's that post? I got to bring that post up, and then we'll...
Perry Meridian.
Marion County, there we go. Yeah, Perry Meridian. Man, heavyweight's going to be loaded there. Perry Meridian, Beech Grove, Ben Davis, Decatur Central, Franklin Central, Lawrence North, North Central, Perry Meridian, Pike, Roncalli, Southport, Speedway, and Warren Central. So a lot of good, pretty much every one of those teams are going to bring, even the non-Perry Warrens, they're going to bring, 4 or 5 pretty solid guys, a couple guys that should, are going to be in the mix to go to state. So that should be make for some good wrestling.
That turns out to be kind of like an Al Smith where there'll be a guy that's maybe on the watch list or not ranked that'll have a huge tournament there and knock off a bunch of ranked guys, and then they'll be like, oh, where'd this guy come from? Like he does what you're supposed to do, go out there and just keep beating ranked guys.
Yeah, no, it did have the people on the board ask, how do I get my rosters on there? How do I get my kids not on the roster on IndianaMat? And that's basically, as I posted, it's something. Basically, the guys, semi-state qualifiers are better from last year. I always upload those guys in because usually they're right on the watch list, if not being on their early rankings. And then past that, it's if you're beating some ranked guys, if you're on our watch list for semi-state or state rankings, you'll get a profile. And then you can edit it and add all the cool stuff. So beat some ranked guys, and we'll be there. So that's the easy way to say it. I always, every week, Mike and Caleb and Howie and Phil, they all have new guys that I have to add into the system, and your guy might be next.
Yeah, and I think there's like some times where guys that are maybe just in the semi-state rankings and not as much in the state rankings, I don't think it happens as much. They might transfer school. We thought we transferred to school, and then people get upset about that stuff. I got a text from Ruben Rodriguez, or a message from Ruben Rodriguez said, this guy's at the wrong school. It's like, no, we know he's at Morton. It was one of those ones that slipped through the cracks. Like, he was a Hammond High kid. He's at Morton. Like, we know that stuff. Like, that's not things that we're like unaware of. It's just we're not changing every single profile. Yeah.
So if there isn't, the weight classes, I don't worry about. I do an update after every rankings of everyone's where they are ranked at. The main thing is if there's a school or grade, I know there are ones, or if they have 2 profiles or misspelled names. I know Jacob Atkins had 2 profiles, and I was wondering what was going on, and we had one as Adkins, the diet, and one as Atkins, and I think one was in one of his profiles was in the semi-state rankings, and one was in the state rankings. So
he's extra tough.
Yeah, so
sometimes we mess up. and we put two guys in the same weight, or not the same weight, but two different weight classes.
Yes,
that happens.
Yes, some are that good that they get ranked at two weights.
No, I don't know, Ruben. I'll just give you an example, man.
Yeah,
I get that. Ruben Rod, I get that so often. You would be surprised. I got to show Hector Mendez a couple messages I had, and he was like surprised.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of messages.
Yes.
I was just using that one as an example.
Yeah. No. So if there's a change send it to me in case it doesn't trickle down to me. Me or Nick are usually ones that are able to edit profiles, teams, change names, so that kind of stuff. We get that done, and as long as I'm not too crazy busy, I'll get it done pretty quickly. Pretty nice having everything's database driven. If you guys know what that means, I edit one name, I would edit one letter on a kid's name, and it populates throughout everything, whether it's the rankings, individual results, team rosters. It edits all the way through there, so I only have to do it one time. It's not like I have to go through the 25 pages that your kid, that'll have to go through. So pretty cool system we have. So
yeah, you guys designed it awesome, man. I think that we want everyone to get the credit they deserve. Also, I think we've been getting a lot of messages. At least I have. You can add your own results. Like if you have a result that you want to add, like we don't have to add that for you. If you won out, like we'll use Cooper Norrie because he had this huge week. If Cooper Norrie's want those on this profile, all you have to do is go add a result, and it goes right to it. It gets approved. I get the email that says approve this. You approve it, and it goes right to your profile, and it'll be in your thing. So we love when you add those results because when I look at the rankings, if you add that and I get to see that, then I was like, oh, that's why I had him here.
Yeah, definitely, and that's something. I'll actually put a link on that on the mess. I'll actually make a link on the message board to that when I get done here. But you go to results, and then there's you have 2018-19 dual results, tournament results, then individual results. That's where you go there. You can add those results. Obviously, we approve them just to make sure that we haven't already added them, and it is a little bit of a reminder to Mike, hey, so and so beat so and so, and he can kind of register it in the back of his mind to kind of remember, because I know he can't go through all. I mean, we already have almost 200 individual results in there, so he can't go through all of them and remember all of them. So that's always nice to have that little email reminder.
So close. I'm getting so good at this spreadsheet, it's ridiculous. So like I'm constantly like updating. Like I wouldn't say it's close right now, just based on like some of the like bigger ones. I had to kind of see how that fits, but like if there was a guy that they beat someone that was ranked, I could just pull it right up, boom, put him right ahead of there. So it's usually pretty good.
Yeah. So we'll go into the next little activity. We're gonna do our top 10 freshmen and sophomores. Just kind of go through. We'll have these on the website. Hopefully tonight. I gotta do some programming on the page, but got a lot of really good freshmen this year. Should we do freshmen? Let's do sophomores first. Sophomores might be a little more clean cut.
We were kind of talking about the sophomore class. Not a ton of medalists in there.
No, there's only 6 guys that placed last year. Only 16 state qualifiers from last year, which is pretty low, I think. And I don't think it's indicative of the quality. This year's senior class, last year's senior class, both were really dominant. And in all honesty, there's only one kid that's a junior that has a state title. That's Viduya. So that's one thing that I think that those two classes just beat up on everybody. So it's kind of watered down even the juniors' accomplishments, compared to what, and we were spoiled with guys like Lee and Paris and Davison and all those guys. We were very, 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 even you think of the second tier guys we call from last year's senior class, like Mills and Rooks and guys like that I don't call them second tier, but they're just below those other guys. But yeah, I think we were spoiled.
We talked about it at Dream Team, how many Division I athletes we had going, and we had Division I guys that didn't make the team.
Yeah.
Blake Mulkey wasn't the first choice. You had, and he's at a Division I school. Zach Mello wasn't a division. He's a Division I guy. He wasn't on the team. Casper McIntosh is at Minnesota. These are Big Ten program guys that weren't in that dream team that show you the depth of that senior class.
Yeah, and they beat up on all those freshmen and these guys that are now sophomores and juniors. So it's kind of, and you see that a lot of times when you have those dominant senior classes, and we actually have, a dominant senior class, and then that junior class right behind them, which is now this year's seniors, are pretty darn good too. And they actually have like 7 state titles. Doing the cover for the magazine was a little daunting task. So I think there's 8 guys that have a title that in our senior class right now.
Like Chad Redd's senior year, there was a bunch of guys. You had Drew Hughes and Jacob Kovach and Strack and Chad Redd. And you just had a bunch of – that was the one that you did the wrestling ring with. And that one was just like huge. There was a huge amount of returning state champs.
Yeah. So, and then the couple years behind it, like, man, these guys don't have very good credentials. But actually they are pretty solid. And there's guys – I know, you say to me, man, that kid's really good. And he might be Division I, Big Ten quality. But his – you look at his resume, it's like a 3rd place, a 5th place. Like, trust me, he lost to some studs.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go down the 6 state placers. Alex Cotty was runner-up. Blake Borman 3rd. David Pearson 4th. 5th, Kyson Montgomery. Briar Hall was 6th. And then Logan Wagner was 8th. Then you have a couple guys that we have 4 guys that were All-Americans at Fargo. Cotty was, Aiden Warren. Brock Alice was a double All-American, and then Briar Hall was also an All-American there. So some pretty good quality, especially for freshmen. I'm going to probably say Cotty's probably number 1 based on, he has a good national – he's been under the lights, the only one under the lights, and then he also has some national accolades with Fargo, and I think he spent a little bit of time in the national rankings. I'm not 100% positive, but I know he snuck into a couple a little bit.
Yeah, I have Cotty number 1 on my sophomore list also.
Yes. Okay. We might have a little disagreement. We'll come to a consensus on who we kind of think are number 2, as we get down there. The next crop, there's about 3 or 4 guys that I could say, I look at, both the combo of state and national. Borman with a 3rd on a bum wheel. That's pretty impressive. You have Aiden Warren, he was only a qualifier. I guess it's kind of hard to say that, but he placed at Fargo this year. Ellis was a qualifier, double All-American. And then Briar Hall actually has the All-American honors and a state placement. And I saw Hall this weekend. He looked pretty good. I don't know. What are you thinking, Mike? What do you have as a 2-ish?
I went Borman 2. I was really impressed with Borman last year. I'm still super impressed with Borman. I think, when you find out did he have tear ACL? Is that what he ended up having, or he had something pretty bad on his knee? Yeah. He went out there and he was pretty close to being under the lights. Then I went Ellis on his summer success. Warren, Montgomery, Hall. I think that was like 6.
I'd maybe put Hall a little bit over Montgomery just because he has that Fargo credential. That's pretty big. He had a really good Fargo. Kind of hard to, go past that. 5-6, we can argue all day. Either way, 5th place finish at in a pretty tough weight class, and Montgomery was right there with I can't remember who he lost, but I know he was right there.
Right? It was Moran in the semis?
Yeah, in the quarters. Yeah, he gave Moran everything he wanted. What do you have 7? I know we have Pearson left, Wagner, both state placers, then a bunch of qualifiers, and then you have guys like Evan Bates, who's in the rankings, who's pretty tough, bigger guy.
I went Evan Bates at 7. I think that he's really talented. Ahead of Pearson, who I have 8. I just think that when you're doing that at those bigger weights, I think Evan Bates, I've been super impressed. Not that I'm not impressed with Pearson. Pearson was kind of more of a Friday night upset. Not that I was shocked, but I didn't have him as the favorite Friday night last year, and I thought that Evan Bates, I have him higher.
Yeah, and that's definitely something, the bigger guys, and we'll talk about that when we get to the freshmen. They're not going to have quite the accolades because they're wrestling, juniors and seniors, and so they're not gonna. It's one of those things that we all know that they're not gonna have those accolades as early when you have guys wrestling 132 and below as freshmen, because they don't have to wrestle guys that look like Lucas Davison or
right.
Yeah. So it's a little bit harder for them to garner those accolades earlier. Definitely agree. I mean, obviously you see Bates a little bit more than I do. I know he's pretty tough, and he's going to be high state placer most likely this year for Chesterton, because they always churn out those 82s and up. If the state finals were just 82 on up, like the team duels,
yeah.
I would put Chesterton would be state champions every year.
Yeah, they have this guy that's in there, and if you shake his hand, your hand gets engulfed, and he's really smart, and he can probably tell you about the stock market, and he had just a bunch of kids that just graduated through there that were monsters.
Yes.
Out of that program, what do they have? 5, 6 Division I guys out of Chesterton.
Yeah.
Both Tolan brothers are going Division I. Lemley Division I. Both Davison brothers and Picorni.
Yeah, that's 6.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's just past like 3 or 4 years. So
yeah, not too bad.
Yeah. What do we have at 9? We're gonna sneak in Logan Wagner. Then we got a bunch of qualifiers that are pretty solid, but no one really sticks out.
Yeah. I went Logan Wagner 9 with the medal, and I think I like him. He scraps.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was another Friday night upset. He was a 4 over a 1, or was it a 3 over a 2? Was Triana semi-state champion last year? I thought
2 or he didn't win. He might have been a 3. It might have been 2 over. Yeah, I think Wagner was in the finals because he beat I believe so. I think he.
And then
yeah.
That 10 spot's difficult because I think, like we said, there's not a lot of medals in there, and you have a lot of state call. I mean, I seen Gavin Alstott this weekend. He looked really good. Fuqua looked good. I'm saying it might not be how you say that. I think it's Fuqua though.
Yeah. Yeah. That one's you can just it's a grab. Jose Diaz is just not paying attention. Yeah. I would say I personally
Ross.
I'd go with Ross mainly just because he was a little bit more favored on Friday night, because I think he was a 2. So I think that'd be the biggest one. I would say he was a little more favored. So
a lot of those are worth 113s last year, right? Cole Ross was 6, Gavin Allstar was a 6, Conley was a 13. So maybe not as many, but yeah. So 10 is a little bit more difficult. I would probably agree. Cole Ross.
Yeah. So we will we'll have these up on the site in a little bit. Let's see, what do we have? We'll got Cotty number 1, Borman number 2, Brock Ellis 3, Aiden Warren 4, 5 is Briar Hall, Kyson Montgomery number 6, Evan Bates number 7, David Pearson 8, 9 Logan Wagner, and Cole Ross number 10. And 10 could be any of 7 or 8 kids. So
yeah.
That was semi-easier because we actually have a little bit more credentials to go with.
Yeah. This one might be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. The freshmen, we have a lot of good freshmen this year. I know we've alluded to that. We got 3 guys that came from Ohio that are pretty darn tough from everything I have seen and heard and everything. The hardest thing I will say is kind of ranking these guys, because 2 of them, Brady Welch is a 60-pounder, right? And then Donahue is 182. So I think Donahue's already taken a loss, but they're boys wrestling men, even.
Yeah,
no matter how good you are.
I don't think Donahue's taken a loss, right? Brady Welch I think he's taken 2 losses, right?
Yeah, but they're not bad loss. They're not losses oh wow, they're not that good, but they're holding their own. And then you have even Drake Buchanan from Center Grove, who's 38-pounder, I believe. I know he's 38-45 area, bigger kid. So he's gonna struggle a little bit because he's a boy wrestling men, and a little bit more solid weight class. So and then you have guys like Jesse Mendez, Zeke Seltzer, who both have had a lot of national and state success. So, man, it's hard for me, and I couldn't find exactly what the Culver kids have done. I know they've done well at Tulsa and such. So has Mendez and Seltzer. And I know Donahue was like a Super 32 champ for middle school.
Yeah.
And so was Seltzer was a third or something, and then Mendez was a middle school champ too. So kind of hard to judge. I'm thinking Mendez just mainly a little bit more because we know him more than the Ohio guys.
Well, not only that, like, and I'm not just saying this because I'm playing his dad. I just lost to his dad in fantasy football, so. But he beat Jacob Moran as an 8th grader, who went on to be a state champ. He beat Littell, who's an All-American at IndianaMat this year. He went out to Culver and beat what's the kid's name? Like Vinny, or not the Ames thing.
Oh yeah,
conflict.
Yes.
Vinny Zerba. To me, that ranks you as number 1. He hasn't even been tested yet. Like, he's out here. Like, I think he's smashing kids. They want those matches, those big matches, and I think that they're going to end up getting a good match at or Al Smith with Hunter Watts if they both make it to the finals, which would be a good match. It'll be a good test, and I know that those are the matches they're looking for. I'm going Mendez 1.
Okay, I agree. And I think it's a little more familiarity. I know the Culver kids, the 3 Culver studs, are pretty good, and I know they're actually they're ranked all, like Flo as their top freshman, big board, and I know they're all kind of in that same area, which kind of solidifies a little bit of what we're saying.
Right.
Hi Willie. Say nice thing about Willie. I say Seltzer number 2 mainly because of his Fargo All-American status.
I agree.
I know none of those other guys have that, which is that's a big notch in your belt.
I think 1 and 2 are pretty clear cut. Those guys have, even right now, they've competed with the top guys and have done well. That Seltzer Moran match was really good this past weekend.
Yeah, I did see that. That was real good. Seltzer ended up tying it up late, or like going in the 3rd period, and then Moran kind of hit a little bit of another gear. But Seltzer's as good as they come, and I know his dad will have a good game plan next time they meet up, and I would not count him out just because they're going to have a good game plan. I know Porter's going to have a game plan too. They're not going to sit on their laurels by any means. So that should be another good. I anticipate next time they see it'll be another barn burner.
Yeah, Cathedral's not at Team State this year at the IHS.
No, they are at Team State, I believe. Fairly certain they are. Okay. So they could
then we could see that match again.
Yeah, that'd be good. I'd like to have 3 or 4 of them before. That was a good match. They went after it. They attacked, and as long as it's not a boring 2-1 match, I'll definitely like to see them wrestle again.
Now, this is where I think we'll start disagreeing.
Number 3. I'm gonna say probably. I'm going to say Donahue mainly because I think he's ranked a little bit higher on Flow.
I went Donahue also.
Ooh, good one. Where do we go next? I'd probably say Welch mainly because he's also ranked, but that's...
See, I went Cernus.
Cernus?
I think Cernus is really good.
Okay.
Yeah, I went Cernus. I've got to see him a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real deal.
Yeah. I can't disagree with that one. What do you have as 5? Is Welch still hanging around there?
See, I went coming off a big win this past weekend over a guy I probably would have had 5 if he was at 6.
Mm-hmm.
I went with Hayden Watson. I think that was a big win over KT this past weekend. KT winning IndianaMat. I think that it's a huge win. Obviously, he beat a lot of guys that were really good. He beat Giovanni Diaz, who also had a win over Jacob Moran last year.
Yeah, that's a good one. Watson was, I think, 3rd or 4th at IPO too. So he was right there, and that's obviously a big win for him over KT. Definitely can't argue that. I mean, coming in as incoming freshman placing the IPO, that's a pretty big notch in your belt. Especially especially those lower weights where it's there's 10, 15 guys that are state placers.
Right.
Where do we have number 6? Do you have KT Welch? You have Drake Buchanan hanging around there?
I'm gonna go there. That's why I'll probably put Welch in at, and I think that his is kind of swayed by the size. I think that he could have been higher, and he's taken a couple of losses, but I'm gonna go Welch.
Yeah, those ones are going to be the hard ones to rank just because they're going to come. Mendez might not lose, but he's not wrestling. I mean, he's in a tough weight class. There's no question about it. But he's also wrestling. He's not wrestling guys that are jacked. Speaking of jacked, Slivka looked a little bit bigger when I saw him on video. Either that video must have added 15 pounds, or he actually looks like he's been doing some squats.
Yeah, he's definitely thicker this year. I'm telling you, man, they're 95. I think his name's like Luke Adams. That kid's thick. That kid did not need the 15 pounds for camera.
Yeah, so back on track. Number 7, we have KT's hanging around. Drake Buchanan, who's had some national success.
I'm going to go KT.
KT, yep. That's pretty solid. Can't really disagree. IPO champ at 7. That's pretty good. Where we're looking at 8. And we got a bunch of guys. I basically just put on my list the guys that are ranked. You got Drake Buchanan, Griffin Ison had a pretty big win this last week. Brownsburg Avon. Ashton Hayhurst from Castle. Logan Miller's ranked. Isaac Rubel. Matt Kuntz from Edgewood has had a lot of national success. Placed, I believe, at Flow and at fairly certain he's a Tulsa placer too. He's on the edge of rankings at 132, I believe.
Yeah, and I just think 132 is a really deep weight class.
Yeah, and so he's gonna have to get the wins first to get up there.
Oh yeah, Solers too. Solers in the rankings also for modern day. Thank you.
Yes.
Former middle school ranking guy.
Yes. Yeah.
Conway's in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And we got Conway. Yep.
Probably Buchanan there over Ison. Buchanan took a loss this weekend also, but I mean, you're gonna take some losses there. You're gonna get your feet under you.
Yeah. Because I know Ison ended up losing this weekend too after a big win. So obviously, he's at 45. So that's
and I think he's a little undersized for 50. That too. I think that he can probably make 38.
Yeah. So that's, you're talking, freshman year when you're in those middle to upper weights, you're going to take some losses. But that doesn't mean that they're, unless you're a super stud.
I forgot about Solers. I'm going to go Solers actually at 8 for modern day.
Sounds good.
I think he had a big win in his actual room to make the lineup. He had to put Scott Fitz out.
Oh, geez. That's not bad.
No. And, that just speaks to the depth because I think that modern day also has another 106 that could probably make a lot of lineups. Again, Alex Freeman last year could have made a lot of lineups, and now they got Bowerman or whatever, Borman or B-A-U-M-A-N. Yeah, I think that he could make a lot of lineups.
I think modern day has the most guys on their roster, and they have two guys that we have at 13, 2 at 38, 2 at 45, 2 at 182. I might need to prune their roster.
Well, even they had another kid that I didn't see him on their track account. That he was a solid guy. He was in their lineup for 2 years, and now I just didn't see him in there, so I don't know what's going on. Brody Borman. Yeah. So, they have last 2 spots.
Yeah, last 2 spots. Man, I like Kuntz because I think he's had some national success.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, we got 1 spot. Last spot here. We got Ison, Hayhurst, Logan Miller, Isaac Rubel, Kuntz, and Conway. That's a good. Did
I miss somebody? I got Mendez, Seltzer, Donahue, Cernus, Watson, Welch, KT, Solers, Kuntz, and then 1, right?
Yeah.
Did I miss one?
Yeah. At 7, we have KT Nelson, 8 Buchanan, 9 Solers.
Oh, Buchanan. That's what I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with. Man, this is a good class.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go with Kuntz.
Yeah.
And he's not in the rankings right now, but I don't think that's just the weight class. I wouldn't be shocked to see him at the state final. I wouldn't be shocked to see a lot of these kids at the state finals, honestly.
Yeah.
JJ Conway is good for Floyd. ice on. Obviously, I think being in that room helps you out a ton.
Yeah, definitely.
Being in a good room with good partners.
Yeah.
Hayhurst at Castle.
Now this is a good class, and I know I've maybe alluded to it a little bit, but if Dream Team's coming back soon, this might be the class that we're looking to kind of build around. I know, especially I'm looking at it because we have some big guys that are already fairly well proven, and that'll help us out. And I mean, we already have. Let's see, I think Mendez, Seltzer, Donahue, and Welch. 1, 2, 3, 4. We already have 4 guys in the top freshman, class of, their class rankings, and that's they usually only do like 25, 30 of them. They don't do like for seniors and stuff, they'll go all the way to 50 or 100. So they have a little bit less to go off, and they're already in there. And I know the other guys, like I know Kuntz, I know Cernus is in there, and some of those other guys are right on that bubble of even they're being mentioned. They're in the bubble. They're probably not quite there, but they're close. So that's pretty nice. We have a good group of guys there, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So
start training for that Dream Team 4 years from now.
Yep. We just gotta find a good place to host it.
Start separating those weights. Start separating those guys so you don't have 2 guys at 13, 2 guys at 6, 2 guys at 32.
Yeah.
Let's spread that out.
Well, I'll be sending you guys some of you guys weightlifting programs, and some of you guys just keep your same weight plans for the next 4 years.
Let's go, and we can have. Where could we host it this time? Rothberg did a great job.
Yeah. That's they did a great job. Great place, real close to the airport, which I liked a lot. Not having to, Yeah, so we'll figure that out once we get closer. I definitely
all those details were irrelevant to me. I showed up right at game time.
Yeah, I definitely like the Indy area just because everyone from Indiana, a little bit easier for everyone to get there. If we're not in Fort Wayne or we're in any of the corners, it's a little bit harder for everyone to get there. So we'll figure that out a couple years from now. But I know that's one of my on the agenda here. So. Getting lots of emails and stuff with that. So you gave away all your shirts this weekend, so no more.
All of them.
Nice.
I got one. I actually got a shirt in return. I was gonna wear it tonight, but I'm gonna wait till next weekend from Bill Burford, who just posted. Gave me a Crown Point shirt, so I didn't want to run in here and put it on real quick. So I'll wait a week maybe. But all the shirts got handed out. Crown Point, Floyd, Franklin Community, Cathedral. All these guys got a bunch of shirts. So
yeah, no, that's good to see. I know. I know that Dane just got his stuff, and I know he's been kind of busy. His wife went on a field trip with the kids, so he had to take like a dozen kids by himself at home. So I know he was a little busy this weekend. We'll find out where he is. Worst case scenario, he'll be handing them out at Al Smith.
Oh yeah, which would be great. That'd be amazing because I know all those guys are excited. Yeah. I gave the Mendez family. I gave Jesse my IndianaMat socks. I really like the IndianaMat socks. So I don't know if a lot of people know this. I know we used to say it a lot, but Drew Hughes had a pair of IndianaMat socks he would wear all the time. And I handed them out at the Harvest Classic to DJ Washington, and then now Jesse Mendez has a pair. But Drew Hughes wore those I feel like every big match he had IndianaMat, the yellow and gold. These are the Navy ones.
Yeah, these are he got the OG ones. These things they're thick, and they're a little crude, but they work. Everyone liked them, and I know we got some new ones from the iPost, so I still have a few pairs. I might put them up on the store. Might keep them out to just hand out sometimes. Just I don't know, but yeah, we have. I saw some stuff. Probably put some stuff up on the store this week, maybe. I'm a little busy with some stuff, but we'll try to get that store back up and going. Got some nice shirts in there, and we'll see what comes on through the rest of the year. Obviously, we'll celebrate the birthday of the 10th birthday all year long. So,
which is pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely cool. I know, like 2 years ago, I was at like a Railcats game, which is the baseball team in Gary. And a kid was wearing an IndianaMat shirt, and I was like, what? I guess it was a Griffith kid. He had purchased one. And it's just always cool to see that out there, and I think this is awesome that IndianaMat gave us the opportunity to hand this stuff out because everyone was really excited to get this stuff. I know the Moreno family, Andres Moreno's mom, I think, got a shirt. I think Andres got a shirt.
Yeah.
So
that's cool that they're watching, and definitely give them points for doing that. And maybe we'll have to do that every year. I don't know, just get 100 shirts and hand them out at random events.
I'm telling you, whatever the big matches at the State Farm, the year with that Chad Red, we missed the opportunity. Lee and Red, we should have had a red one and a gold one, and we got a table set up. And whoever they wanted, we should have said, okay, you're going Chad Red, let's give him a red IndianaMat shirt, and just did it like that.
I like that.
Now that Nick's not coaching, maybe me and Nick can set this up and we can do this.
Yeah, nice. No, I like that. I like that idea. Now we'll do some stuff. I mean, I like, people love their IndianaMat shirts, especially we got the nice tri-blend ones. I don't mess around. I only wear tri-blends now anyway. So yeah, that's anyone gets me a cotton shirt, I'm sorry, I just don't wear them because it's like the bed.
Macos Luce got the light blue one. That's what he said. It's in the rotation. Yeah. LDI region and CP gear. Yeah, if you got one of the tri-blends, that's where it's at.
Yeah. Those are I don't mess around with shirts anymore. So I only wear tri-blends. My closet is tri-blends, other shirts that I wear maybe to work out in or to work in the yard or whatever, and then that's all. So
and I think we're gonna have one out at I don't know if I gave one to Drusus's daughter. She played softball. She plays in our softball organization. She loves IndianaMat, so maybe she'll wear one of those out to the Dvorak or Cheesehead or Powerade, wherever Carmel's gonna go. So maybe we'll get some Illinois love.
Nice. Yeah, they don't get very much gear out there. They don't have they have the Illinois Mat Men, but they're not as quite. Yeah, they're pretty popular, but so with that, we're gonna probably go next Monday. I am pretty positive. After that, that's Christmas Eve. I don't think we're gonna do a Christmas Eve episode.
That'll probably be good. I'll be moving, so my Wi-Fi might be spotty at that point. I never try to log on in Lowell, so.
The question is, you don't have internet set up already? I mean, if you're talking like Nick or me, that's the first thing I got set up at my house.
I'm an amateur, man. I'm sorry. I gotta get this going.
Of course, I moved the week before IPO when we moved to our new place here closer to civilization in Fort Wayne, and I was like, I need internet like the first day. They're like, oh, we can't get you scheduled. I go, I need it now. My job depends on it. And end up getting it, but yeah, it was a pain.
I'm gonna make it happen. So hopefully we can get that going, Rose. If not, I'll be doing the Dingo Brigade from the car. Maybe I'll do it from an unknown location in the dark.
Yes. Parts unknown. Yeah. So I guess after next week we'll kind of play it by ear before the big holiday tournaments and stuff. Stay tuned. We will be doing, obviously, a lot of people like it on Facebook. I know we're getting lots of compliments and people. I got a message, are you guys going live tonight? And like, yeah, just a little bit later. We had some family stuff we had to take care of, so stay tuned. We'll have a lot to talk about next week, and probably some previews of Al Smith and Mooresville and Connorsville. Maybe Connorsville will give us some information.
You should just do live on location from the Al Smith seating meeting. Everyone can see how that goes.
Oh, goodness. That would be, yeah. And then we need two commentators. Ooh, that was a bad seed for Carroll. Oh, I cannot believe Cathedral Kid is a 7th seed. That is horrible.
A year, I know this. I know this because McGill was still coaching at Lowell. He was so mad coming out of there. I think they had Drew Hugh like the 8th seed, right?
Yeah, his freshman year.
He was the 8th seed. He won it, and I remember he was so irate, and he was just texting me. He's like, "No, pull us out of a hat. Put us in there and pull us out of a hat."
You might as well if you're the 8th seed. Yeah, but then yeah, I remember that, and it's like, yeah, it was hard that freshmen getting seeded. There's you have to.
You're gonna have a freshman this year that should be in the seed. And I'm not saying he should be the 1 seed because Hunter Watts is there too, and he's a returning state champ. But if they put Jesse Mendez as like the 7th seed because he's an 8th or a freshman, then they are crazy.
Yeah, like, well, you have Seltzer too.
Yeah, Seltzer also. Yeah, if you're pulling Seltzer like as an 8th seed, good luck. Yeah. Good luck. Keep wrestling the 1980s.
Yes. So no, yeah, we'll maybe we'll go live from there. There'll be comments on IndianaMat's Twitter. That's all, and maybe even our Snapchat. There'll be just that's going to be ugly. I mean, because those coaches, you don't want to say you win the seeding mean, but it does set you up a little bit easier to navigate and getting kids seated. It seems good, but I don't know. It could be ugly because I can tell you there's some weights where there's 15 really good kids that that could all place, and any of them could probably win it at some weights.
All the time, I love when we get the posts like rankings don't mean anything. Like 89% kind of does. Jordan Slipka, we got to get Jordan Slipka. If I knew that, I would have got him a pair of socks for sure.
Well, tell Jordan, okay, bowling. We're gonna have a bowl off. Al Smith, night before, me and you. I'm a former state champion in bowling. Supposedly you bowl like 299s like every day.
We talked about this. Me and his mom talked about this. Nick Weisjohn, if you guys haven't seen, go check his improv out on his Facebook. He posted it. Miss you, buddy.
Yeah. We're gonna have a guest appearance by Nick real soon. So
yeah.
With
That's
that,
what we should do. We should have Nick do a live stream from a Magic the Gathering tournament as we talk wrestling.
Nice. He's also hilarious.
It was good. I heard the laughs. I was nervous for him.
So, Glenn, the lineup for the Al Smith is on Track Wrestling, and then we do have a post there somewhere about it. We'll be bringing it up. We'll be talking next week. I'm sure that's going to be a lot of the talk, and maybe we'll do projected seedings and see how bad we do.
Oh, let's do that. I love that.
Yeah. We did that one year, and we did a pre-seeding, and it was actually fairly solid. Yeah, we just had some kids that moved weights and stuff.
Let's do a pre-seeding, and then we'll do what the actual seeding is and what the actual places are.
Yeah, we can do a contest, the Al Smith seeds versus the IndianaMat seeds. So, yeah, maybe we'll do that. It sounds like fun. We'll get on that. Because Mike doesn't have anything to do this week other than pack and everything.
What else I got going this week? I'm doing a broadcast for Region Sports. We're doing Duel Wednesday night. So I'll post that on IndianaMat, I'm sure. We can do it from Nick's parents' house.
Yeah. So
good, because we'll be celebrating that Bryce Harper signing with Jim.
Jeez, there's some inside jokes there. With that, I think we're just going to cut this off. Everyone have a good night, and we will see you guys next Monday night for some fun wrestling talk.
See you guys.